To us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. Upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth ever forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. We've just finished going through the Christmas holiday season. There's lots that goes on during Christmas, some dedicated to Christ and some not dedicated to Christ, to other things. But when we get down and think about what Christmas is, and Christmas, the word Christmas is Christ Mass. It was the early church service celebrating Christ's birth. When we think about what the manger scene is, as we look at, the one item that has to be in that manger scene is what? Jesus Christ, the Savior, the Lord. Now, every one of us here, I hope, loves babies. It's hard when Charlotte's here and when Andy's here, not the first thing you do when you see him is to smile. If you watch people, that's the first thing they're going to do. And when Andy will talk during the service, we can't get away with talking in the service, but Andy can get away with talking in the service. And Charlotte, I'm sure she has cried one time or two, but I've never seen her. She's always smiling. She smiles at you, and it gives you a good feeling. And so when we think about Christmas, we think about how sweet that little baby was, but we don't stop to think that that child came to this earth to suffer because of me, because of you. We now will be going into the time of Easter. We'll go through the time of Lent. It's not too far away. Within about 4 months, we go through Christ's complete birth in our church celebrations. And we think this little baby is going to be nailed to a cross. In just 4 months, we're going to celebrate that, and you would think people think we're crazy because we celebrate Christ dying. But when we think about it, we need to think about that Christ came to this earth to die, and to die for us. And so I'm going to open it up for testimony, for telling of what maybe God has done something special for you that really stands out. I know each and every one of them. Just the fact that I got out of bed this morning was something special. Simply because I'm still alive and I'm still with my friends. But at the same time, if I wasn't, I'd be in a better place. But I'm going to open it up to you. And anybody, would somebody like to give a testimony this morning? Don't be shy or...
I'll start out now.
Okay, thank you, Lord.
I'm 78 years old. I hate to admit it, but I am. I've had a mother for 78 years, folks. That's a blessing in itself. She's 103 years old, going to be 104 February the 21st, and she's already planning her birthday. So she's not going anywhere. Unless the good Lord changes his mind somewhere along the way. Anyway, she and I had a little disagreement a couple of weeks ago. I have to tell the story anyway. And it got sort of hot, heady. She was going to tell me who was going to come work for her at night, and to call the cousin from down in Toccoa, Georgia, that she said she'd come and stay with her. And this went on for about 2 hours. And I think I lost it. Anyway, I said, Mother, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going home and I'm not coming back. And I'm not going to do anything else for you. And she looks at me and she says, everybody's gonna be talking about you.
She's right.
Anyway, she's absolutely correct. Anyway, but the end of the story, the next morning I go and say, Mother, I still love you, and she looks at me and she says, I still love you too, Joel.
God bless you.
That's a blessing to have a mother who takes the time to tell you what's the truth.
God was good to me this over this holiday. I'm like, God. My family came up. It was hilarious at times, believe me. But we had a wonderful Christmas. And the beautiful part of it is they all went away happy and they all got home safe and sound. I can't ask for anything better than that.
And we had quiet.
I told Reba, I said, boy, I bet that's a madhouse around that house.
It was a lot of fun, but I'd go hide sometimes. Mama did too. She said, let them have it. But we didn't have to cook. Mama didn't have to cook. My boys did it all for us. And they had a great time. That's what they wanted. They didn't want to go nowhere. They just wanted to be home with each other.
That's good. We're glad to have you in church with us, too.
Oh, they enjoyed that. My daughter-in-law wanted, she sings in the choir at our church, and she wanted the choir to sing so bad because she wanted to get up and sing in the choir. But we didn't do it. We sang there, like we did, which was fine, but she really wanted to get to the choir.
We had 22 in our house for lunch Christmas Day. And that was a real blessing. The main thing, Ann and I are both, our health is much better than it was years ago. And that's a blessing.
It suddenly happened to, didn't it? We had prayed, and he said, well, I prayed too. And I told him I'd wake up from the night and I'd just prayed I wouldn't hurt somebody. And I got up the next morning and I was just, I have a touch and back problem, but that's normal. But I was getting such pain. And now, get on the other end. I just thank the Lord for it. I knew not to talk because I do, but cry because I'm so grateful.
Well, we allow crying in church. Anyone else want to?
No, I like that. I like to go over there and make my parents and go there and do live. I really don't, it's a good job. It's hard sometimes, but I know a lot of people, have none that work for minimum wage, I'll tell you, get my job, and all them grandbabies. My wife had a real hard time, she's got as much on her plate as anybody I know. And if it wasn't been none, that's the only way of life in her life sometimes. I think it's good.
Anyone else have a?
Well, it makes you feel good when you know you've practically raised two little girls. And the other day, their mother come to pick them up. She said, come on, girls, let's get ready to go home. So Phil looked at her and she said, well, I'll see you, I'm at home. And Stella's getting that way too. We've had some rough and some good this past year. My brother that passed away in August, the last 9 months of his life was a living hell. And I think he took it as long as he could from, well, I'll just be real honest, this woman he married that drained every bit of his money, and he took it just as long as he could. And when the night that he died on Friday, but on Thursday night, she was demanding more money. And he just, I think he felt the only way you could get out of it is just die. But his girls handled it very well, much, much better than I could have. So we're looking for a whole lot better year this year.
Anyone else? I'd like to say, just to reiterate what Reba was talking about, my health is, I still don't realize, what all God has done physically in my chest right here. I feel good, I can chop wood and do other things, and I'd like to, just praise Him though for it. Every day we draw a breath, it's by God's design and God's grace that we do that, but more important is that I know that I'm a sinner, and I fall short of the glory of God every day also. But I can go to Him and ask for forgiveness, and where people might not forgive you, God will forgive you, because He tells us that He will forgive you. And so, as we go into the new year, our Sunday school lesson today was trusting in God's miracles, and we think of miracles as just being when you're healed or something, but there's more miracles out there than that. I was watching the birds on the bird feeder today, and it just lightens your heart to watch the little nuthatch run up and down, and the titmouse come to the suet block, and just sit there and look at those beautiful colors, and just think, if we give God a chance, He will heal this country of every problem that it has. And we don't have to look to political leaders or a magic man to come and heal this country. It's the ingredients for healing is already here. It's been here ever since this country was founded. It's always been in the world. God has told His people time and again that He wants to heal the country, and He wants us as His children. So I give praise to God today for what He has done in my life in the past, and what He's going to do this upcoming year. It's going to be a good year. And I'm going to try and keep that frame of mind. We let little things upset us and make us angry, make us mad. But I'm going to, try and be a more positive person. That's my New Year's resolution about God, and try and stay in His will and stay in His grace throughout the year. Is there anyone else have a?
For those of you that do or do not believe in miracles, I can tell you a few years ago on a Monday, I had a heart attack. Went to the hospital. Come home on Tuesday. Went to work the following Monday. I've never had a problem. That was 16 years ago. You can call it a miracle. You can call it whatever. But even the doctor did not believe that I was back to work the following Monday. I could have gone on Thursday, but I didn't. Now you can call it what you want, but I'll tell you, it was a wonderful feeling. I hurt so bad when I had the heart attack, and it's very unusual. I just installed a garbage disposal in my house, and as I stood up, I had a heart attack. I had an artery 95% blocked. I had a blood clot over the opening. I could not do anything. I hurt like a vice grip on my sternum. I sat up, I stood, walked, I drank water, I laid down, I did everything. Finally, I just told my wife, call 911. And I went to the hospital, they opened it up. I went home the next day. I've never hurt or had a pain since.
Well, last year was kind of hard for our family. My sister in California passed away, it was a blessing. She was anorexic most of her life. She broke most of the bones in her body. She had fallen and broke below the knee on her leg, 4 places. Well, they wrapped it and took her in by ambulance for surgery. She was allergic to the wrap, so her leg blistered. By the time they got that cleared up, then MRSA set in. She weighed 50 pounds when she passed away. We went to see her, to see a skeleton with laying in a bed. That was it. The biggest part of her would have been her little bitty small head, because there was nothing left. Her husband is not doing well. They had no children. The only relative that my brother-in-law has in his family is a niece that lives in Washington State, and he's in California. So it was a sad year, but it was such a blessing. Barbara tried to take care of Bill. He has Alzheimer's. He'd get up in the night and go outside and wander away, and she'd hear him and would have to go find him. And she really just was so tired, so tired. My son went out, he's a minister, and he'd say, Aunt Barbara, can you not make it a little more? Oh, she said, Ken, I am so tired, and I'm not that tough anymore. And that was just a heartfelt, you knew that was the exact truth. So it was a blessing that she went on. Now we have to pray for Bill. But it's a difficult time, but things could be a lot worse.
Thank you.
John, I like Reba's. I worked a lot with children in church, and one word that we worked with one Sunday was the word joy. J-O-Y. If you take the J and put Jesus in your life, you take the O and put others in your life, and you take Y and put yourself there, you'll have joy in your life. And John said he wanted his next year to be more positive. We got Jesus that we can look to, and we studied today about the power that God and Jesus has. But we also have the devil, and the devil is very, very powerful. And Dave will tell you many times in the 7 years almost that we've been married, I'll tell him the devil is trying to steal our joy. The devil doesn't want us to be close to God. He wants us to be miserable. He wants us to worry. He wants us to doubt. So when that little negativity enters your life in 2015, that little period of doubt, turn it around and say, that's the devil. He wants to keep you from being close to Jesus. And let Jesus help keep joy in your life.
Thank you, Terry.
Well, speaking of joy, I've got a very busy, blessed, wonderful year, and my life is filled with so many wonderful people. For the past couple of weekends, Dad and Timothy and a few others have been working on my house, and I'm just getting so excited. And so many good things are going on in my life, so I'm very, very blessed and very joyful, and got a great outlook for 2015.
I'm just sitting there thinking about Abigail's joys. I mean, of the job and the house and her engagement. And she's had many, many, many things in the year.
I've had some rough years, but this year has been awesome, and next year's going to be good too.
Anyone else have a?
I've had a great year too. I mean, people look at me and say, what are you talking about? Yeah, and I can't begin to tell you when it started. I know when I rolled that tractor, I tell folks, and you know, it was a blessing because I was able to witness to everybody in that blooming hospital that came into that room, and some of them that were walking down the aisle, you know, that God was with me in all 4 of those rolls. Because He stopped it when it needed to stop. Because the next one would have been, well, that steep bank right alongside there that's probably 70 foot that drops down into Highlands Road. And He stopped it, you know. And Judy says, well, it's a good thing you were pinned down. The seat was in my back and the seat belt was on, and I couldn't get that seat belt loose. I tried cutting it and I couldn't get my knife out, but you know, God was with me, and it's like with this right here. It's been a joy that it's fixed and I haven't had the pain. I got 3 new toes, a wrist, and an elbow to go into this next year with. And the only thing I can say is I kind of hope it's not quite as event-filled. But, you know, God has blessed me beyond measure. I can't say anything else. It just, yeah.
Amen.
Well, John, this January 8th, I have to go back in for my 3rd chance and try, and hopefully this time the doctor will go deep enough and get all the cancer out of my breast. Do you know